Hi there, scrap friends. Louise with you today. Thanks so much for checking out this video. It's a creation inspired by the mood board at White with One challenges. Now I have used florals, the very vintage color palette, and the animals to choose my photos. I did initially have a little bit of a sort of a coffee feel and tried to find some pictures of myself drinking coffee, but I have obviously put them somewhere very safe. So I'm going with the next best thing and using animals for inspiration. So this is my little man, Popeye. He has made some appearances in videos previously. He likes to jump down and wander his way through a scrapbook layout while I am filming. Of course, today when the subject was him, he did not want to be involved, but I guess he's already the star of this layout, so he continued to sleep in his favorite position. All right, now, as soon as I saw this mood board, I knew that it was going to work beautifully with this ink and ivory collection from Paper Rose Studio. It is one of my favorites at the moment. I love the patterns, I love the palette, I love the ephemera, the die cuts with their embossed sort of glossy accents, and I think that they're just a super easy collection to work with. And so I'm just choosing a couple of fairly neutral pattern papers just to mount my photos on to give them a little bit of something to sit against, and I'm just going to very lightly distress those edges just to add a little bit of something in there. Now the requirement for this particular mood board was to use old book paper, and I have heaps of old books, and as soon as I tore this out I realized just how old this book actually was, because the paper is kind of falling apart and it's really hard to work with because it just kind of dissolves in your hand. And as I was sort of working with the old book paper, it really kind of became quite a challenge, but I end up getting it on the layout, and that's all that matters. Now, of course, the requirement for White with One is to create with a white background. Now, I've kind of gone a little bit looser with this because I'm going with a cream colored background. Technically, I'm going to call it white, but I felt like the warmer kind of white just lent itself so beautifully to this particular palette. And so that's why I didn't go straight for sort of white cardstock. I just wanted a little bit of off-white, and I thought that would blend beautifully with this particular collection. So the first thing I'm going to do with the book paper is I'm going to create a little tag, and I'm going to put that into my background just with a little bit more of that brown ink to give it that kind of aged edge look, even though it sort of blends in and you can't see it a great deal. But yeah, it works beautifully in just kind of sitting behind these photo elements. And then I'm going to work with some of the pieces from the ephemera or the die cuts part of the collection. I love the way this sort of set of 3 photos kind of sits, and the fact that they're all different sizes kind of threw me a little bit, but I was going through my photos already printed stash, and I already had these ones printed, and like I said, they're all different sizes, so they're kind of a bit random, but overlapping them and keeping the palette nice and neutral and the subject all the same kind of works beautifully in making them blend together. And having that kind of cluster and group of 3 in the middle gave me a really fun background to work with. So making sure that I used a little bit of stenciling and just kept it kind of simple in my background, not huge mixed media, but just enough that you get that kind of bit of extra color and effect in that background layers. So I've got these little tiny triangles, and off camera I'm going to glue them down, and then I went to find some washi tape because I wanted to just make my corners have a little bit more attention. And while I was sifting through washi tape, I found this one and thought, okay, that might make a cool kind of part of the background as well. Now, you would have heard me in previous videos, I always talk about how I tacky glue everything, including my washi tapes, just because in the Queensland heat and humidity, all the adhesive ends up not sticking at some point. So I always tacky glue everything. You'll see here, I'm even going to tacky glue my washi tape down. And when I fold it over, I'm also going to use some double-sided tape, which again doesn't hold forever, but hopefully just holds enough that once it's in an album, it's more likely to be held together long term. All right, so off camera, I'm going to go ahead and finish these corners the same way all the way around with the 2 layers of washi tape, and everything will be stuck down and ready to show you the final shot of the layout. But this was such a fun mood board. I knew straight away that I was going to play along with this month's challenge. So thank you very much to White with One. That's my layout share, and I hope that you enjoyed.